Okay, so today, as I mentioned, we're here at day 28 of the day 28 of the 30-day profit challenge. And again, today we're talking about total customer margin formula. And so what we're going to do is we're going to sum up basically the last few days that we've been talking about this journey we've been going through the customer margin tree. But to recap that, just to set the context again, we were looking at what we called the RFM customer value model, or basically recency, frequency, and monetary value. And really what this model is it's an old school, but still works today model that helps us understand how we can understand the customer value of a particular business. And so what recency speaks to whether they're a first-time customer or a repeat customer, whether they've been using your service for a while. We've got frequency. Frequency would speak to how often the person is coming back and buying from you over and over and over again. And then we've got monetary value. And what monetary value is basically how much the value is of those individual transactions or the value of that particular order or purchase that's being made with your business. So we use RFM as a way to understand kind of how valuable customers are to us, because all those factors play a role. Now, when we're talking a bit about value, what we're talking about is this customer margin tree, and really it centers around the margin per customer down here in the middle. So to do that, we took a journey over the last couple of days where we looked at on the left-hand side of the equation, we looked at revenue per customer, we looked at orders, and then we looked at average order value and orders per customer to arrive at a customer lifetime value. On the other side of the equation, we took a look at the customers and how the first-time customers versus repeat customers play a role. And from there, whether they are paid or earned customers that are first time or paid or earned that are repeat customers. And then from there, we take a look at the advertising spend to arrive at what we call our cost per acquisition. So when we apply the RFM model to this, what we really are talking a bit about is we've got the R, or the recency, speaks to the first time customers and the repeat customers. The F speaks to the orders per customer. And then the M speaks to the average order value. And so what we took a look at is we looked at how we could influence R versus M by digging a bit further into this revenue per customer angle. So remember the scenario we talked about was $1,000 per customer at 40,000 orders would generate an order value of $250 and orders per customer. That would break down to being a customer lifetime value of $1,000. Now we looked at a few different ways that you were able to increase either the orders per customer or the average order value, which would arrive at an increased customer lifetime value. So basically by increasing the orders per customer, that frequency, or on the flip side, by increasing the average order value or the monetary value, be able to arrive at a higher top line we would call customer lifetime value. Similarly, on the right-hand side of the equation, as we dig a little bit further, we took a look at this example of the customers of 10,000, split out between first-time customers of 4,000 and repeat customers of 6,000. We broke that down a little bit further in terms of what the earned mix could look like versus paid on our repeat customers and how much ad spend that might be. We also looked at that on the left-hand side of the equation of first-time customers that were paid versus earned and how that could break down to the advertising spend. But to arrive at our advertising spend combination in the middle to get to our cost per acquisition. So in this scenario, we took our customers, divided it over the ad spend story divided by the customers to get to our cost per acquisition. And then we dug a little bit further. We dug a little bit further into how we could increase both the customers at the top line. And that started off by taking a look at our conversion funnels, both on the repeat equation and on the first time customer equation. By increasing both of these values, we're able to then increase our customers, both first time and repeat. And that generates more customers at the top line of the equation. What that does though, is if we're holding our spend constant, what that's going to do is that's going to drive the first time customer CPA or cost per acquisition and your repeat customer acquisition down, and ultimately your cost per acquisition down by 9%. So those were just some examples, but in summary, how does that all work then to what we call our total customer margin formula? Well, it's very simple. As you know, margin is basically taking your top line value minus your cost of doing something. So in this case, the margin per customer would be simply taking our customer lifetime value, subtracting the cost per acquisition from it to get to a margin per customer. So in this scenario, what we're talking about is taking $1,000 customer lifetime value, subtracting it from the $100 customer acquisition costs to get to a margin per customer of $900. Now, if we did the math, and I don't have the slide here to do it before, but if you did the math, we had 1,210 minus 9132. So what you can see here is that by increasing this top line value and decreasing this bottom line value, what that's going to do is increase the middle number in the middle to an overall margin per customer. So that, in a nutshell, is the total customer margin formula. It's a very simple formula, but it has a lot of complexity to it in terms of all the individual parts with the RFM model. And so with that, the RFM is a very powerful tool that can be used to understand both your recency of your first time and your repeat customers, your frequency of your orders per customer, and your monetary value, your average order value. And what that drives towards is basically your overall customer value less your cost per acquisition to arrive at your margin per customer. So that is today's lesson, folks. Thanks for watching. It's a bit short and sweet today, but really what we're getting to is getting to the end of the customer margin tree. And now we've got to the end of our profit litmus test. And so finally, we will be able to kind of take all these pieces and sum it all together and take a look at what your total margin looks like for your business. So in the next lesson tomorrow, we're going to just recap where we've gone through this whole journey over the last 29 or 28 days. And then the last day, I've got a special bonus for you to showcase how all of these margin models work together to create your total margin for your business. So thanks for watching. Really appreciate you being here. And as always, I ask you to be present, connect with others, and go out and make an impact in someone's life today. I'm going to now pause the recording and take any questions from anyone.